there, I'm Dr. Sarah Mitchell of Helping Babies Sleep. Today we're going to talk about 5 signs that your little one is overtired. Let's dive straight into this. The most common one that I see is that your child falls asleep immediately when they're put in the car seat. In the newborn stage, those first couple months, sure, they really can only stay awake about 45 minutes to an hour anyway, those first couple of months. But we're talking about older kids. If your child immediately falls asleep when they hit motion, that's a sign they were already tired by the time they got in there. Well-rested kiddos will fall asleep in the car seat when it's their regular nap time or when their awake window, the time they can comfortably stay awake between sleeps, has surpassed. So it's not common for all kids to fall asleep immediately in the car seat. It means that your child was tired when they got in there. The second one can sometimes be hard to tell if you're a new parent, but it's increased fussiness in the daytime. So if you have a little person who's fussy and you're like, I know it's not feeding time and it hasn't really been that long since a nap, that's a little bit of an overtired sign in general. I don't know how many people that I've worked with after we've done some sleep teaching and their kids are sleeping through the night say to me, I can't believe how much less fussy my baby is in the daytime. I just didn't know. And that can be true for you. The third one would be increased limb activity. And we see this in newborns and we see this in 2-year-olds. That overtiredness, almost a little bit wired right before they go to sleep. So some people will say, oh, my toddler gets a second wind before bed and they're not ready to go to sleep then until, let's say, 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. That second wind was actually when they should have been already in bed, essentially. That's an overtired sign. Another one is that your child wakes up crying from a nap. It's like they woke up and they're still tired. They don't really want to be awake and they are still crying for that reason. The one caveat to that would be, I definitely have worked with clients who just don't wake up really nicely. It's just their temperament, even with the amount of sleep that they're supposed to be getting. And a general guideline for you would be that, most kids over 4 months until about age in the 2s, let's say somewhere, if they're still napping, need somewhere around 11 to 12 hours of overnight sleep. So early morning wake-ups can be caused by not getting enough nighttime sleep and having a gap that's too long before bedtime. And lastly, another sign your child might be overtired is that they wake up every 2 to 3 hours in the night. They go through a sleep cycle, they have an arousal, and then they're so tired, they want someone to come help them go back to sleep. And this can be really hard because this is a negative feedback loop where once you're in it, it can be really hard to get out of it. And that's often when I work with clients to do some sort of sleep teaching where we change the way the child falls asleep so that they can help themselves back into sleep when they wake in the night, which all humans do. It's just that overtired kids wake up that much more frequently. Now, the most common reason we want our kids to be well rested is for everyone's health and happiness. Emotions are much easier to regulate when parents and kids are both well rested. But sleep is also that important for your physical growth. When we're sleeping, our body's actually releasing the hormones, growth hormones, which helps bones and ligaments and muscles grow. It's also really important for brain development. When you're sleeping, your body is starting to work on learning, cementing learning and imprinting memories that happen through the daytime. Your immune system is also at work when you're sleeping. That's right. So that's why you may end up sleeping more when you're sick. Your immune system comes in as in full force, fighting off foreign invaders. It's also important for motor skills development. So overtired babies will lack the energy and the focus that they need to advance the physical skills and practice in the daytime. And it's super important for feeding. If your baby is so tired that they constantly fall asleep on the bottle of the breast, it's going to be really hard for you to get those needed calories in during the daytime. And then you're going to have to wake up more to feed them in the nighttime. You want to set your baby up for overtired success avoidance by, number 1, watching their awake windows. We're going to put a link down below for our sleep summary by age chart. This tells you on average how much sleep your little one needs in 24 hours. Think of it in 24 hours, your nights and your naps, because sometimes we get kids that sleep really well at night and then have shorter naps, and that's okay. And then the opposite can also be true. But in general, you want to be watching awake windows. That's the time from when your child wakes up to when they can comfortably be back asleep. And this chart will show you from 0 to age 2 what that needs to be for your little one. Some other simple things that you can do to help your child is start a little nap time or bedtime routine that is the same sequence of events in order. Doesn't have to be very long. And it happens for naps and nights. You may have a couple variables that are different at bedtime. For example, you can do a bath if you want to. You don't have to. It's a lot of work for some people. After the newborn stage, it's not the thing that's necessarily going to get them to sleep, but it is a nice time for you to have a little bit of connection before you aim to separate, which is the purpose of a bedtime routine. Cueing your brain that sleep is coming and preparing the child to move away from you, if that's your scenario. So a simple bedtime routine does not have to be long and elaborate. Under age 1, your bedtime routine might be maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. As toddlers get older, they require a little bit more time. That might be a 20, 30-minute routine of being with them in the room. You do also want your routine to have few transitions. So you want to do it in the room that you plan on having them sleep in. You come into that room and then you're in there until they're asleep. Or you're leaving before that. So in summary, a few signs that your child might be overtired are falling asleep in the car seat right away, irritability during the daytime, waking from naps, crying, seeming wired in the evening or before a nap time, and lastly, waking every 2 to 3 hours in the nighttime after 4 months of age. The steps that you're going to need to take is trying to figure out how to help your baby sleep more. By the first thing you might be doing is watching the timing of sleep and not letting them stay awake too long. And then maybe you might want to be thinking about, how do I help my child sleep more independently so that they don't have to call for me every 2.5 hours in the night? And that's what we teach in the Helping Babies Sleep method, the art and science of teaching your baby to sleep. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and never miss another baby sleep tip.